Hey everyone, I hope your Wednesday is going well. Happy Wind Down Wednesday. That's what we're calling Wednesdays from now on, at least during quarantine, because I don't know about you guys, but I need a midweek wind down and a little bit of girl talk with like a really cool gal pal. So tonight, our good friend Jackie Schwartz is going to be joining me. Hi Kathy, thanks for hanging out. And Jackie's here. Yay. I'm so excited to talk with Jackie because I had a really, really fun phone conversation with her last week. And we just could not stop gabbing about everything. From all of these weight loss memes that are circulating on the internet to what kinds of messages her family is sending her right now. So we're going to have a really fun chat tonight. Very excited. Please hang out with us. Jackie is here. I'm going to loop her in right now. And be sure, if you have experienced anything similar or not, just share your thoughts with us the whole time so we can hear from you.
Hi.
Hi, Jackie. Oh my gosh, you look
I'm
so
going to
great.
adjust myself a little here.
I love your
There we
hair.
go. Oh, thank you. I actually washed it for this.
Oh my gosh, I did too.
It's great. I am really excited that you're in your backyard. Are you under your lemon tree?
I am. I'm under the lemon tree. It's right there.
I'm going to dream about that tree until we can finally see each other, and I'm going to visit.
Soon. Yeah, it's got a lot of lemons.
I cannot wait.
Yes, you're welcome here anytime, and I'll treat you to lemonade.
I am very excited about that. It'll be on my top to-do list once
I'm
we're
pouring
out
myself
of
some
this.
wine. I don't know about you, but I thought.
Oh, I should have gotten some wine or something else.
Well, I just thought, why not? Let's call it wine. Why not?
Wine not.
Calling it Wind Down Wednesday. I know you and I always have so much fun chatting together.
Yep.
But thought it would be even more fun with a glass of red.
Now I wish I had uncorked my bottle of wine, but you don't want to see me uncork a bottle of wine. It will take about 30 years to do that. No joke. We'll be out of isolation by then, at least.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Well, anyways, so if you guys are watching and you don't know who I am, I'm Ashby. I am the head of brand here at Ori. And this is my friend Jackie. We got to know each other shopping in New York. You shopped with me.
I
And
did.
we've been friends for like how long? Like 5 years.
I feel like it's
maybe.
good. I was exactly gonna say 5 years. And you were like my first friend in the body positive community. I feel like it was when I was just starting to realize my beauty.
Yeah, I met you. You came to shop and you were working on a web series.
Yeah, Rare
that
Birds
was
of Fashion.
About plus size fashion. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so it definitely was 5 or 6 years ago. Maybe 6 years ago at this point.
Wow. We've been friends for a while then.
Yeah, that was, it's funny thinking about back to it now. That really was my what's the word I want to say? It was just my entrance into the body positive world, or realizing, that there was a different space that I could be a part of and learn to love myself in, because I was working on that plus size show, the web series, and I met you, and it now all came to, it like circles back now. It's nice.
Yeah, that is nice. Yeah, and now I know you follow like all the body positive vloggers and you're very much subscribed to the space. Oh yeah. But just because you can be on your own body positive journey and are no longer fighting a battle with yourself doesn't mean your battle is done with society.
Never done. A body positive slayer's journey is never complete.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, it's really true. Like, and the thing that's incredible is, I might get some offhanded comment from time to time, but like, I feel like every time I catch up with you, I'm like, man, Jackie gets all kinds of crap that she's got to like wade through.
Well, especially in times like these.
Yeah. Yeah, especially in times like these. So obviously we're all seeing those really like fat phobic, weight gain, quarantine memes and jokes that are circulating. I think at this point, like we've all seen one, right? Like they're just inevitable. They're everywhere.
Yeah, they're
Um,
rampant.
they really are. But even though sometimes I'll kind of take it a little personally and be like, oh, this person doesn't even realize what they're talking about when they're sharing these memes. Like they don't realize that they're hurting me. Um, Even though like I'll take it personally, I know that it wasn't like necessarily a personal thing. It
I
just
mean,
feels
it's
that
tough.
way,
I
right?
guess you have to try to.
Uh,
I try to see it that way, taking it as people don't realize what they're doing. But I hope that if our community says stop, that they'll realize that it's not okay. That doesn't always happen, but I like have tried. I've tried to see it that way. It's a better way to see it, but it's still tough. It still angers me.
yeah, for sure. Hi Annette, hi Kathy, thanks for hanging out.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
so we were talking about all of those memes, and Mars is right. Yeah, we're all a little brainwashed, but I found out in our Facebook group. If you guys haven't joined our Facebook group, you have to. It's so fun. Plus size group chat. Search it on Facebook, and you'll be able to find us. But uh, we were talking about these memes and all of these jokes that were being circulated, and some of us were saying like, I just don't know if it's even worth writing something to them, or I don't. And then we had one person come on with the best suggestion. Do you remember?
The vest
Yeah,
suggestion.
the
I don't
best
think I
suggestion
remember that.
on how to deal with, how to, if you want to respond to one of those memes being shared on your timeline, the best response.
I don't remember that.
It was Kate. I don't know if Kate's on, but Kate said, I just wrote back, hey, those legs literally look like they were a photograph of my legs. Thanks so much.
Oh, that's good. I don't remember that. I don't know if I remember reading that comment, but I like that.
Yeah, the clapback is so
I like
good.
that
Exactly.
suggestion.
And hi, Leah. Thanks for hanging out. Leah and I got to chat last week, and she's in Brooklyn, and I know you're hanging out at your studio apartment in Manhattan. How's
Yep.
it going?
It's going okay. I mean, I think every moment is different. Being alone and being in a small, confined space, and being in I guess, the epicenter of it all, which makes you kind of just want to stay in your apartment, but then you get so stir crazy being in your apartment. But it's okay. I try to every day just, feel what I'm feeling.
Yeah.
Today, honestly was a bit of a particularly frustrating day for various reasons of things that like happened in my building and things I was trying to get accomplished that just didn't get accomplished. But I really fully believe that anyone who feels anything should feel how they're feeling. But I also try to feel lucky that I am healthy and that my loved ones are healthy. And that's all I can really be grateful for now. And I guess when people ask how I'm doing, I say I'm just doing the best that I can do, and it changes from day to day.
I
But
like that response a lot.
yeah, I mean, it's all you can do right now.
Totally. I think I keep catching myself. People are like, how are you doing? And I'm like, great. Like as if everything's normal just because it's like a gut response. Like it's just, I'm trained. How are things? Great.
I know, because I think we've all been told our whole lives that, we shouldn't put the burden of our emotions on other people. But I think in a time like this, when you really admit how you're feeling, it brings people closer together. There are some days where I really am okay, but I think there are just two emotions that I feel like I have, which is I'm really not doing well and I'm really okay. And I'm not really sure that there's ever a middle ground. And that's why, it changes from time to time. I mean, I was frustrated earlier today, and then I was okay. And then I was happier. And then I watched Bruce Springsteen sing Jersey Girl, where I grew up, on, this Jersey Strong live thing that they were doing. And 10 minutes before this, I have tears streaming down my eyes. And I'm like, oh, not now. Not when I actually put some makeup on for the first time in like 5 weeks.
I'm sorry. There's a lawnmower happening. I'm gonna try to take you inside so that it's a little bit quieter. Sorry about that.
Goodbye, lemon tree.
Okay, so no longer under the lemon tree, but that should be okay. A little quieter.
But there's still citrus over there, I think.
Still a little citrus. It's California. We're all about that citrus life.
That's right.
But yeah, I if you guys don't know, Jackie and I met in New York. I was living in New York for the past like 8 years, but now I live here, and I keep thinking, like how you keep thinking, like I'm so grateful that I have my health and my family has their health. I keep thinking how grateful I am to not be in the epicenter like you are, and to be able to kind of, have a sigh of relief that I'm not constrained to, a small New York sized, postage stamp sized apartment in the midst of it all. So I am like so proud of you guys who are all hunkering down in New York and like maintaining sanity.
Well, I think there is trade-offs. I think like I find that when I'm looking for paper towel, toilet paper, I can call my bodega around my street to deliver it. Whereas I know a lot of other people have had a lot of trouble finding it. So I think there are some more accessible, there's more accessibility in the city still, which I'm grateful for. And I think if I were anywhere else, I might not find it. Yeah. I also think, I thought to myself the other day, I thought, oh, well, if I wasn't a real New Yorker before, I definitely am now.
Yeah,
so I've joined that club, and obviously I think there's something I'll look back on later. Well, two things. One, about how beautiful the cheering is outside the window every night, and I really look forward to that because I look out my window and I see people at their windows and everyone's cheering and banging drums and pots and pans, cheering for all the essential workers, and I feel actually very connected in that moment, more connected than I think I felt in New York sometimes before this whole thing happened. And two, I think it's sort of nice that I have survived on my own. Everyone in this has a burden to bear, no matter who they are or what they're going through, whether or not they're living in, well, let's not talk about the celebrities living in their big houses saying we're all in this together. But, everyone has a burden to bear, whether or not you have a lot of children you have to take care of, whether or not you're living by yourself. But I feel really proud of myself for surviving on my own and figuring out what I need to survive day by day, and taking every emotion and every breakdown as they come, but not letting it, bring me all the way down.
Totally. I have to say, Mars said, I love when we're on FaceTime and you show us the cheering. I have to say the same. I actually got the chance to be on a video call with Jackie last week, and it was right at the perfect time when everyone was cheering outside, and you stuck your phone out the window for me to witness it, and like it actually was such a beautiful moment. And even though I feel grateful to not be in New York, I was kind of like, man, I am missing that club. How sweet that is. And,
yeah.
And you were pointing out that there were people, sticking their heads out of the windows, and it's the only time you really get to see lots of humanity, right? Like actual human beings.
It is. It really is. Everyone, you can, if you have a window that actually opens up, not just with the screen, you could really stick your head out there. And sometimes when I have my foot out there, I'm like, oh my God, what if this just dropped all the way to the ground right now? But when I get over that part, I look over and somebody else is like sticking their body out the window too. And it just, you realize. So I think there's something really nice about that. And you'll always be part of the New York club.
Thanks, Jackie. Appreciate it.
I mean, you did get that bagel delivery the other day, so.
Oh my gosh. I'm still eating them. I've eaten them like every single day.
That place is up the street from me, and I have ordered from them a couple times, and I shove them in my freezer. It's great.
Yeah, I was going to put them in the freezer. We were actually just saying that. I was like, okay, today's the day I need to just put them in the freezer.
Yeah.
And then we realized we only have 2 left.
So maybe not. But bagels freeze so well.
They do.
Spoken from a Jewish girl, they freeze really well.
We didn't even need to freeze them. We were just so excited. We've been eating like 2 a day, like once for breakfast, once for lunch. Like,
oh no, now you need more, because the one thing you cannot get in LA is a good bagel.
it's so true. It's so true. Good bagel, and pizza's totally different too.
Well, next time I come out, when I bring my brother pizza and bagels, I'll be sure to bring you some too.
Yes, I would appreciate that. Mars also had a bagel today. Well, another thing that Jackie and I had been discussing is just what it's like to be fat in quarantine, right? So we're dealing with all of these memes, but these memes are just saying like, oh man, I'm gonna gain 15 pounds, which kind of isn't really going to actually make your life livably different. You're not going to be completely like treated by society in a different way.
That's really,
if you came into quarantine thin and you leave 15 pounds heavier, are you really going to be treated totally differently? Yeah, and Jackie had a lot to say about that.
Yeah, it kind of goes back to the same way I feel when I'm in front of someone and someone's like, I'm so fat, ugh, or like, I'm gonna gain so much weight. You hear it. Read the room, look who's around, please, right. Because you should be more sensitive to that. But I think the thing that when people say to me, well, it's my body, it's how I feel about my body. I want to say to them, and I have said to them before, what you don't realize is that you don't walk out of the room fat. You don't get onto the subway fat. You don't walk into the street fat and have people judging you, making faces at you, sometimes outward comments to you. You don't have to live with the prejudice and the stigma of being someone who is fat. And so I think when people are making all of these jokes, they don't realize that at the end of this, whether or not you gain 15 pounds, which my body is not a joke. I just want to say that first and foremost. Absolutely. It's not. And not especially in a time of, real anxiety and pain. Yeah. When, I personally think like we should be worrying about other things. You don't have to, it's not, like you said, it's not going to change your life. Where I'm a bit worried, especially living in a city that is so in such close quarters, when people are going to still want their space, especially we're still going to be in the pandemic, but after we figure out how we're going to live, I'm worried about what it's going to be like, where my body's not really made for small spaces, where I go into small stores and I might brush up against someone. When I get on the subway, which is something I don't actually really like to do, I try to find other ways of going on the subway, what it's going to be like when I try to squeeze into a subway during rush hour, or just I'm on the street and it's a super narrow street and I'm not able to give someone that 6 feet. I think there are all those things that I worry about, that, I'll have to try to get through and still use my mantra, I have the right to take up space. But I think people don't realize, like, there may be some more prejudiced again. And obviously I want to say this, but, not only, and I know that the prejudice I'm going to get may not even compare to the prejudice that Asian people are going to get after this too. So I just think I'm a little bit worried about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's funny. Jack and I were talking last week, and I was saying to her how when the stay-at-home orders really first came out, one of my first thoughts was, oh, does this mean we're going to like have a break from all of the isms that like bother us because we're not going to be around humans all the time? I was like, oh, maybe we're not going to be dealing with so much fat phobia. Maybe we're not going to be dealing with so much racism, because we're just going to be at home and not having to interact all the time. Of course, the opposite came true, right? There's all kinds of fat phobic rhetoric on the internet now, and tons of, of course, racist sentiment too, which is not ideal. But like absolutely everything you were saying about life in New York, I think so many people who aren't city people maybe don't realize, but space is so fraught in New York, and it's not just the size of your closet or your bathroom or your apartment, but it is truly just living life in your body, sitting on the subway. Do you get the luxury to sit on the subway, or will everyone around you make face, right? Like that kind of stuff happens. It happens all the time.
Yeah, it does all the time.
Yeah, and everything in New York is so narrow. And it's already, I think New York City is already just like hard to be a fat person in because everything is so narrow and space is so tight. But then to throw on this new added layer, this new added complexity of we need to all be giving each other 6 feet. It's gonna be hard. People are definitely going to, react differently to, fat bodies.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm curious. Obviously, I don't have the answers to any of this, and I'm curious to see
Right.
how people are going to react, whether some people are going to be more compassionate, because this, I think, like everything that happens, this will bring out a more compassionate side of people.
Right.
And I think this will probably bring out an angrier side in people as well when they're trying to protect themselves or have anxiety. And again, like, I want to go into this with I know this is going to come from a place of anxiety everyone has, and we are literally talking about life and death in this COVID-19 pandemic.
Right.
So I'm going to try to take it one step and one day at a time. I'm not going to tell myself that I have to stay in any more than anyone else when we are allowed to relax a little bit on the social distancing. And I'm going to tell myself still completely that I have the right to take up space, and that if this world, that it's not my fault that New York City, is the way it is, and I deserve to live in this city. So I think those are some things I'll continually tell myself, but I also, if I'm being honest, am worried about it and a little anxious myself to see what that's going to look like. But, on the other hand, in trying to stay positive about everything that's going on, I had a thought that came to me the other day, which was, in 5 or 6 weeks now, I haven't had to call a restaurant to ask if they have size inclusive seating. I haven't had to worry about all those things. So I think there's an added, an anxiety about, trying to make sure that, like, I am taking care of myself and making sure I'm always only going to size inclusive places has been taken off of me. And I realized that the other, and I said, okay, well, that's sort of been something that has been nice about all of this. Totally. If nice is the right word, but something that I'm trying to just, see the positive in.
Absolutely. That's a really good point. Very few restaurants in New York are fat friendly, and Jackie is the queen of research, as I've known just from getting to know you. Like, the way you have to pre-plan a trip to a restaurant or to the airport, just to know that you're going to be comfortable and be okay, is, I mean, I know you're a planner girl, but like
I'm a producer, so I guess I'm always producing everything. And lucky to have some amazing friends.
It's true that those are little things that so many of us take for granted, and now in quarantine, you're able to, in one way, kind of be just more on a level playing field as everyone else.
Yeah.
But I know you were telling me you've gotten some not so great concerned messages from family.
Yeah, I think not only have I heard from family and friends, I have to say, asking me every day if I'm going to take a walk, or I'm moving my legs as if, somehow I don't walk around my apartment or take my garbage out or do my laundry in my building, that, my legs are going to stop working. And, again, I love my family and I love my friends, but none of that is helpful when we're all just trying to keep ourselves together the best we can. And that's exactly what I've said to them. Again, I think I've been really proud of my responses and trying to not to try to understand that people aren't doing it to be malicious, even if I think they should know better, but it's their way of trying to, make sure that I'm safe being alone, since they can't really physically see me except on one of these, things. But I think it's just not helpful. It's not helpful. And what is even less helpful is when people start pointing out that articles written have said that obese people are really at risk from COVID-19. Which is such a broad stroke to begin with, because are you obese and do you have diabetes? Are you obese? And I don't even like using that word, obese. I just think it's such a medically gross term that has created so much stigma against the fat community. But I just think it's not helpful. It doesn't, even if I wanted to change my body, which I don't,
Yeah.
because I love this body that I live in, because it has kept me healthy, and I actually have a really great immune system, which is, something that's important to me, important for me to say. But I also think that if I wanted to change my body again, which I don't, I'm not going to snap my fingers and unzip unzip a fat suit and all of a sudden come out a skinny person. I'm not that, Kate Moss saying, or whatever saying someone said, with every fat person, a skinny person living in them. Nope, that just is not true.
Okay, you said you were pretty proud about your responses to the health concern trolls who are asking you things like, have you walked today? And what are the other ones? Have you seen this article about obesity and COVID? So to those not so helpful health concern trolls, what have you said? And like, if anyone is tuning in and has a similar experience, what advice do you have for them?
Oh, I think you just have to set your boundaries. And nobody, my cousin who's a therapist, gives me the best advice, always says, no one can set your boundaries for you. And I think that you can take that into every single thing you do.
Yeah.
You can obviously, take that into any work-related situations, and especially into relationships with family and friends. And so I have simply said to people, if you send me this one more time, we're not going to talk anymore. We're not going to talk through this. If you keep asking me that, I'm not going to open up to you. I'm not going to tell you how my day is or how I'm feeling. I think I'm just very explicit about what I need in order to maintain relationships with people. And I think that works, especially when I try to come from less of a place of anger, but as I understand that you're concerned, but your concern causes me more anxiety and makes me feel bad. So, if that's the case, then you have to rethink what you're saying to someone. I know that's not always, it's easier said than done. It took me a really, really long time to work up to that, because I used to believe that, if friends especially were telling me that I needed to change my body or exercise or diet, which a lot of them always felt that they were like on a mission to be my savior. I used to think, that they wouldn't be friends with me anymore. But now I just, realize that, it's not worth it if somebody makes you feel that way. Like, that's not what friends and family are supposed to do.
Totally. And if everyone watching, if you have experienced anything like this, if you've just experienced, I don't know, just seeing a really close friend post a weight gain joke that you don't appreciate, or if people are reaching out to you and saying, are you walking? Can you just let us know? I mean, we'd love to hear from you. And if you have advice, or if you've dealt with it a way that you thought was positive or negative, just give us a comment. Would love to hear from you guys what's going on for you too. Because I mean, it's funny to me that your family was like, or friends or whoever, are so concerned with you walking. And I was actually thinking, like, can you walk around the sidewalks in Manhattan without there being like so many people? Like, can you actually not come within 6 feet of people on the sidewalk in Manhattan right now?
It's tough. I actually went out for the first time really the other day. I had an appointment somewhere and I had to go. And first of all, walking that mask is not fun. You're sweating. It's just horrible.
No, and glasses too. Are you wearing glasses?
It's really, and I was wearing glasses too, because I was not going to wear my glasses. And then I thought to myself, well, that's an extra layer of protection, right? So maybe I should
you were just fogging up your glasses.
I was breathing and they were fogging up my glasses. And I was like, oh, this just is not going to work for me right now. But there were not that many people in the street, but I was very conscious about, and I really did this more, for my own nerves, not because I'm like, oh, fat person has to be the one who stays away, but I would just like look around, see if people were, who was, coming down the street, and if I had to like move to the side until they passed me or vice versa, I did that. But I think when social distancing practices are more relaxed, I think it's going to be tough it's going to be interesting to navigate it. I'm just going to have to, we'll have to figure it out as we go. But some streets are bigger than others. Some are really narrow. So,
right.
as long as everyone is wearing masks until we don't need to wear them anymore, I think it will be a little less anxiety inducing.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, if you're wearing a mask, you're at least trying to make an effort, right?
Yeah, I hope so. There's some people I saw out there without masks on, and I was just like, well, I guess I can't tell you what to do, but I'm glad I have one on right now.
Yeah, yeah. So what is it like right now just getting around in Manhattan? I know you live in Manhattan, so are you like when you have an appointment, are you hopping in a cab?
I walked. It
Okay.
wasn't that far, but I walked. Um, if it was further, I would have probably taken a lift or something like that. I can't imagine getting on a subway or a bus
No.
right now.
Yeah.
I mean, that's me personally. I know people have to do that every day, and I'm very grateful for people and their bravery. But for me, I probably would have hopped in a cab, but um, if that wasn't, or a Lyft or something, or an Uber. But I don't, I guess buses definitely have a little more space.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. Um, I mean, I'm here in LA. Public transportation is still running like normal, but also it's LA, so
I was like, public transportation in LA. Oh yeah,
yeah,
but they
there's
do have buses and a subway. I've yet to see. I'll
not a
believe
whole lot of
I'll
people
believe
that
your
use it.
subway when I see it.
I mean, our subway's above ground, and yeah, the cars are like this short, and no one uses it. I mean, it's
You
totally,
do.
it's
You
not
have a
just.
little car, right? If I
Yeah, I have a
remember.
car. Her name is Carla.
Although
But
you
I mean,
maybe got in the.
I feel so like lucky or and just privileged to be able to hop in my car if I want to just a slight change of scenery, just to even just look out at something through my windshields and know that the only people who have been in that car, like me and my boyfriend, and the only people who have breathed in that car are us. And, so I don't have to be
God, this
thinking like,
world.
ooh, who's this Lyft driver and how many passengers have been in it? And, all of those things that you can just kind of spiral. Um,
Yeah, yeah, no, you definitely can. I mean, I would be a little nervous getting in somebody else's car right now, but I think my hands are just, every part of them are ripped from washing and
I
hand
know.
sanitizing so much. It's crazy. I mean, but I think that's the thing about what makes me feel better right now, especially with there being a lot of fat phobia out there. But I really I feel like I love my body right now. I feel like really grateful for my body. I feel grateful for every part of it that gets me up in the morning, every part of it that's protected me, of me being in the epicenter of this thing for, I mean, I think like that's, what I go back to when, other advice I could give people in dealing with this right now is like, be so grateful for your body, this body that wakes you up every day, this body that, sustains you and fulfills you and gets you to your appointments and, and for not having to really wear bras at this time. I mean, for me, that's great. And feeling really good, good about that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, it's true. If you're healthy, your body is the first easiest thing to be grateful for. It's helping you stay healthy.
it
That's a
is.
really good perspective. I really like that.
I
Hannah
love
says,
it.
"Yes, girl."
Yes, love your body right now. I mean, there's so many people out there who sadly have, are so sick, and it's just so sad. And that, and if I just feel like I'm disrespecting my body by not being like, thank you for
Yeah.
taking care of me and getting me up every day and for being beautiful.
Yeah. Aw. And Leah says, "Yes, no bras."
No bras. Oh, that's so
It's
nice.
true. Our bodies are allowed to kind of really just be. Even like, I'm wearing makeup right now to talk to you because I wanted to look pretty for
I
you.
did put a little bit on too, and did my hair for you.
Oh yeah, your hair looks great.
I know. I guess this is what happens, after you've like not put any product in it and you let it go natural. What can I say?
But exactly,
Again, the benefits of things.
Totally. I feel like my skin is a little bit more clear just because it's not used to wearing a mask all the time, and my hair, I'm washing it much less, so it's pretty happy. And we're kind of allowing our bodies to be in their natural state, letting our boobs be droopy.
Oh yeah, I love that. Yeah, I it's great. It feels freeing in a way. And again, just the positives of this entire thing. I mean, there's so much that that I feel like I've been able to take the negative and turn positive. Even, like I record myself on a device almost every day. From my old journalism days when I was in college, I had like a mini cassette recorder, and I just talk into it about how I feel. And and like being alone, that I think that helps to have that. I can't wait to look back on it in a year and just, hear what the, somebody just said, boobs don't have to be in boob jail. That's hilarious. That's true. It is like a little boob jail. And, I've been going back to like all the body positive shows that I love too, like my Mad Fat Diary. If you've never seen that, by the way, Ashby,
I have.
that
Wait,
is,
how can I
oh
stream
my
it?
God.
How can I stream it?
Hulu.
No.
It's
Hulu?
a British show, which are always
Got
the
it.
best shows.
I have heard from multiple people in the body positive community just how like ahead of its time that show was, and how
so ahead of its time, and it's so great in every single way. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I think like there could have been more diversity in the cast, but you could say that about a lot of shows that took place then, and we're always constantly improving on that. But in terms of what it tackled in terms of like fat phobia and body positivity and mental health is so important. Oh my God, I really want you to watch that show. And then
okay,
I told somebody else, I think my friend Anne, who was in here.
It's called. It's called My Mad Fat
Diary on Hulu. That would be such a good binge for everybody. I mean, get the box of tissues. You're gonna laugh. You're gonna cry.
And I happen to know that Andrea's partner is a Brit, so I think it's a group viewing party.
All the British shows. They're always ahead of their time, those British shows though. But I mean, that really helps too, putting on an episode of that when I need some. I mean, I also watch Buffy because that makes me feel powerful. Anything that makes me feel powerful Buffy right now. Yeah. I do. It's funny
how, the way we're talking about everything, like our body being free, our hair being free, our boobs being free, like our skin being free. Our bodies are so free, even though we're technically trapped inside. Like it's kind of the freest we've ever been, even though we're not moving places. It's a weird combo, but kind of awesome.
It is really. I mean, I think it's. I'm careful to say like taking the positive out of this because I understand that people are sick and have lost loved ones and it's all very painful. But, I think you have to look at some of the positives. Like it's Earth Day today, and and the Earth is better than it has been in a long time. And I think that's something that is a positive. And I think, a positive is that I haven't had to call, I haven't had to like be nervous about going somewhere I've never been before because will they have inclusive size seating, or will I not be able to will there even be seating, or I have to stand the whole time. Not obviously like for every positive of mine it probably is a negative for someone else, which makes me sad, but I still think we have to do what we have to do.
So for those of us who are maybe like hi Regina, thanks for joining. But for those of us who maybe don't have to, like, when I go to a restaurant, I don't have to think about the seating options, because even if I get one of those super uncomfortable chairs that's totally not made for my body, I can still squeeze into it and
down to high chairs.
And
I hate high chairs.
So what advice do you have for when we do come back to some sense of more, normal, when social distancing has been a little bit relaxed and when we're able to go dine out again? Like, what's the advice that you have if you're getting dinner with a fat friend? Should you, I mean, I feel like when you and I would get dinner together in New York, you would usually be like, I want Sammy's, and I'd be like, yes, we're getting Sammy's noodles. But that place is so good.
Oh, but, damn, I miss that now.
Are you like tired of always taking the lead on like where to eat and like having to do all the hard work of calling and like just all the legwork?
It's funny because I feel, I know, and as you're asking me this question, I see that there are a group of my friends in these comments being so amazing and supportive.
Yeah, super awesome. All
which
of you
is
guys,
wonderful.
Mars, Steph, Jordan, you guys are so sweet.
I know, Mars, Stacy, Jeff, Jordan. So, and I saw earlier, if I'm missing anyone, I'm sorry. But I really feel that that you have to shoot your friend, like create a group around you who understands people.
Yeah.
Like any of these people who I just talked right now know that, are they don't just, if they invite me to dinner, I trust that they're going to invite me to a positive place. I mean, I went to my friend Rebecca's dinner party, and it was in one of those like big rooms that you can rent in like a cellar in Manhattan or whatever, and she had beforehand scouted the place and picked a seat for me and a different chair at the table. Like and to make sure it was okay. I had showed up early because I obviously wanted to make sure for myself, and when I got there she was like, oh, I already took care of you, don't worry. And it's so nice. So I think, I really, my friends who understand, and my friends who don't. And
yeah,
or just like don't fully get it or won't. So, but there are certain people I trust, and, other times where I'll definitely call myself. So I think it's, really important to have those people who are on board with you. And it's not just like understanding. It's like, I want to make you feel happy and comfortable.
Yeah, that's amazing. I really love that. Oh my gosh. And Mars just sent a really good comment saying, Jackie honestly taught me a lot about how to be supportive and make sure she is considered. And I feel so grateful that she opened my eyes to how I can be a more inclusive person. Mars, that's amazing.
Mars is the best.
But Jackie, also, I mean, with your advice before on boundaries, right? Like, I'm not going to be comfortable here. I'm going to let you know. I'm not just going to keep getting invited to restaurants where my butt literally doesn't fit in the seat.
No, I don't. It's not worth it. It's not worth it to me anymore. And I hope that if you're inviting me to your party, or you're inviting me your birthday party, you're inviting me to be part of your, bridal shower, when it, I hope that you're asking me with first considering what seating you've provided, or what dresses you're going to make me wear, or whatever.
Yeah, totally. And I know you and I have talked a lot on various lives and in blog posts and everything about one time when there was a fellow fat person who threw you under the bus.
Oh God. Which is funny because how many fat people are not, I guess, like in the body positive community. I've seen posts on Facebook or Instagram recently, these like fat memes. It's like self-sabotage. I don't get it. Or what I used to be like, it's like when I tried to eat a salad with all like the thin people I went to like middle school with,
right,
or something like that, and it just didn't work. Although I actually
out.
do like salads, so I won't hate on salads completely unless they're kale, because that's just not my thing. But a good salad's a good salad, especially if it has blue cheese in it. Anyway, I digress. But I was on a plane that time where some a fat person who's probably like between a size 18 or 20 took a middle seat next to their partner, and I sat down next to them in the aisle seat, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be nice, like we're all just gonna like kind of cuddle together. And it was from Florida to New York, which is such a short flight anyway, and this woman asked me to move, and in an embarrassing way, not a, hey, do you think that it would be more comfortable? I can't, like, we have to sit next to each other, so you can't move. Do you want to move? I won't be insulted, or something like that. She was just like, I'm not going to be comfortable with you next to me. Can you switch with someone else? And she said it really out loud, and it embarrassed me, first of all, because I think she should have taken a little more discretion. And then, and these are the times where, like, after other times we've gone live together, like I've talked to you about trying to take the anger out of the situation, but it made me go from 0 to 100 really quickly.
Right.
Just something I'm trying not to learn to do for my own benefit, not for their benefit.
Right.
And then she went to go tell the flight attendant. The flight attendant came over to me, and that's when I got really pissed. And I got pissed at the flight attendant, so it's a shock that I wasn't kicked off that flight to begin with. I'm actually shocked I wasn't. My dad was there, and he like is bigger. He's bigger boned. So it's not comfortable for him to, like, he needs his space too. And then,
right.
I don't know, it was just really embarrassing. So I didn't move the whole time. And then, and then we sat next to each other the whole time, and it was like really awkward. And then she actually tried to be nice. But anyway, the point is that I think, like, you have to be an ally to people who are especially similar to you. I don't know if it was a self-hate that she had for herself and just didn't want to look like the 3 fat people in the row or something like that.
Yeah.
It was,
right, it totally could have been projecting or just her insecurities. But I think that it's also just like a helpful learning moment, because I think that a lot of people, maybe even her size or my size, which is about the same, to be honest. But I think that it's easy for, if you're at the smaller end of the plus size spectrum, to be like, well, I'm not that fat, and as if you're different and better, and you shouldn't stand up for that person, right? Like as if you're, their well, their problems are my problems. Whereas I feel like what is so incredible about the body positive community is that we're all here fighting for the same thing. So if you are having a bad experience on an airplane, and you're a plus size person sitting next to someone like that, you got to stand up for your friend, and just not be a poop, not be a jerk.
Not be a female dog. Oh,
Yeah.
that's insulting dogs, though, a little bit. I always hate saying that because I'm like, I really do love dogs so much. Is it an insult? No, I just, I think whether or not you're a small fat, as they say, or
Right.
a super fat or medium fat, whatever it is, like you are going to or you're going to have, or going to experience discrimination
Right.
in some sort of form. So like, okay, maybe like somebody won't get annoyed with you sitting next to them on the plane, but if you go for a job interview and the thinner person comes in, they will maybe hire the thinner person.
Sure.
Or you're not going to go into to be able to shop in every size store that you go into. So I think
Totally.
it just goes back to like,
we're fighting the same fight.
Yeah, we are fighting the same fight. It might look a little different, but ultimately it's the same. And I think that goes for, I'm very passionate about the films and the projects and the creative ventures that I go on, always have to have some sort of theme of, helping to spread messages from marginalized groups of people. I have, friends who are non-binary and friends who are trans, and, I talk to them about the intersectionality of being fat and wanting to be accepted, and them always wanting to feel like, their bodies be accepted, or, actually live in the body that they were born into. And I think like, no matter what, there's always intersectionality, and we have to, stand up for people and tell each other's, stories.
Totally. I'm absolutely. And I think that it's also helpful for us to recognize our privilege, too, right? Like not just color of my skin, but also just, the fact that I am on the smaller end of the plus size spectrum does mean that I do experience a little less hate and judgment and ridicule and whatever. And I'm privileged that I'm able to squeeze my butt into an uncomfortable seat at a restaurant in a way that, my fatter sister maybe couldn't. And I'm mobile, I'm able to move my body, right? Like how you were saying before, like, it's so nice to remember, like, actually your body's so nice and so great, and it's able to move around during this time when so many people are sick and dying. My body is able to move easily and comfortably. And yeah. Just realizing we're all in the same fight, but also our varying degrees of privilege are actually really,
recognizing privilege. Like I know, as I am on the larger end of the plus size spectrum, but I also know I'm white, so I know that like I always want to make sure that when we're talking about that larger end of the plus size spectrum, I want to make sure, or and like I know what my white privilege is in that, and wanting to make sure that I'm including other voices for people my exact size in that conversation about
Absolutely.
their experiences and what they experience worse than I did.
Right. Totally. And I think also that kind of stuff, recognizing your privilege, can also just kind of ground you a little bit. Like if you're really caught up in your body feels and you're really thinking, man, quarantine has made me I've been moving less and I've been eating more, and I'm just sad because I feel like I'm gaining weight and I feel like I have a new role or whatever it is, to recognize that like it's really not all that bad. You're not dying, you're not sick. Hopefully, right? Obviously, hopefully you're able to stay healthy and you're able to stay home, and just every time you can. I think especially with body stuff, when we get really sucked into, oh my gosh, is that a new role on my arm? Is that a new thing there? Oh my, I don't like that about me. Just be like, hey, actually, you got it pretty good. It's okay.
Yeah, You do. You could, I mean, like I said, you could always have it worse. And like recognizing it's okay to feel how you feel, but realizing like what your privilege is in that.
Totally. Totally. Oh my gosh. Someone said I had so much fun shopping with Jackie. Same.
Oh,
She's got great
Mars,
style.
yes. Well, thank you. Help
She
from
does.
you.
She does.
Yeah, Mars and I shopped at a place one time that had sizes for everybody. So it was like, and that was my first experience ever doing that. So it was really nice.
Oh, that's super nice. That never happens.
Never. So that was really cool. But I am excited to get some, buy some Ori stuff soon.
Ooh, I'm excited for you. I'm wearing a new thing that's about to come. Should I give you guys a sneak peek?
Yes.
Oh,
I think this is the thing you told me about last time we were talking, which looks perfect for summer.
Oh my gosh, it's so perfect for summer. Here, let me bring the camera back a little so you can see the whole thing.
And the lemon tree again? Just kidding.
The lemon tree. It's right there. This is the dress. Ooh. Okay. All right. I'll move you to a better spot. So you can see the whole thing.
When we start talking to our phones like they're people, that's when it's time to.
We're getting there. I feel like we're getting there faster than I would normally feel comfortable. Okay, here we go. Now I'm moving you, Jackie, not phone, you. To here. All right, let's see.
Oh, I like that. And that color is great, especially on you. Oh.
Good one.
On pockets, obviously everything needs a pocket on it. And I love that Ori does that, which is amazing. And that looks like a dress that I would die to wear.
Oh my gosh, it's so comfortable. I'm definitely going to be wearing it all summer long. I'm positive.
The material looks really like nice and breathable.
It's so nice. It's like a stretch French terry. It's like light and breathable, but like heavy enough that it has like a little bit of body.
Oh, I definitely want to wear that dress, especially if all we're going to be able to do when it gets warmer in New York is take walks.
Yeah. You're gonna, yes. So is it too cold to really enjoy being outside right now?
Well, when I went out yesterday, I was actually warm, but it was about about to rain. It actually thunderstormed yesterday, which was kind of lovely being inside without thunderstorm. But it was, I think some days are warmer than others. I mean, it's been a little cold different days, but you know, it'll be nice when it comes time where like I'm not just gonna like go out in my, you know, biker shorts and sweatshirt, and I could actually just throw on a nice dress.
Totally. Yeah, looking forward to the day. I'm out here in my nice dress in the backyard, but no one gets to see it, but you guys.
Well, I'm gonna call you every week now just so I can have a peek at that lemon tree. I guess if you take anything away from this Instagram live, it's that I am obsessed with lemons. True.
And then I have a lemon tree, and Jackie's jealous.
I am so jealous about that. Ugh.
I know. Well, thanks for hanging out with us and just being so open and so real, and it's just really nice, you know, to hear from you. Of course, it's always nice to hear from you, but also just to hear your perspective. And I know you always think of me when you're dealing with crazy body negative world things.
Yeah. And I wish, I mean, I could talk to you forever. Seriously, this, you know, the hour's almost up here, but I was just going to say, like, you know, at some point, maybe we'll talk further about, you know, how I guess, you know, it's hard when you have an eating disorder too, and this whole atmosphere aggravates it.
We can dive into that right now if you'd like to.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know, I was just, you know, something else that I like quickly wanted to mention was that, you know, I'm like very open about an eating disorder that I've lived with and that I'm in recovery for, but it took me a really long time to like dismantle this idea that I had to constantly like hoard food because people weren't going to feed me enough, or I wasn't, you know, people were going to restrict what I was eating. And the idea of like always wanting to make sure you have like enough food if there's an emergency, have freezer emergency food, you know, really was
Great.
taking a toll on my mental health in terms of my eating disorder. And I really was finding myself very like obsessed with food in a way again that like was really unhealthy, like having to make, you know, if I had just gotten a delivery of food made and I saw that there was a delivery open for another time, like 2 days later, I was making, you know, was booking that. And, you know, it came to a point where I was like, oh my God, like I'm not even going to be able to get through all of this food. And it's not just about like nourishing myself and making sure that like taking care of myself. It's come to a full obsession. And I think combined with all the other sort of fat phobic stuff that was going on, I was just very, I don't know, it was very, you know, it was overwhelming. And I feel like I'm glad I recognized that. And I was able to like, you know, and it, you know, take a step back from that and realize, but, you know, I think it's just, you know, in time where we're protecting our physical health, it's so important to protect our mental health.
Absolutely. Well, and, you know, smart of you to recognize what your behavior was, right? Like smart of you to say like, oh, this stems from my, you know, fear of people not letting me eat.
Restricting me.
Right. And, you know, it's funny, I've heard, I don't know if you told me this, I don't think so, but someone else was telling me a very similar thing happened to them with clothes, just because she was like, I'm a size 30 in jeans and I don't ever find jeans that fit me. So every single time I have found a pair, I buy all of them.
I get that. I totally get that. I do. Jeans.
Yeah, it's a similar thing. It's that scarcity mentality. Are you going to be restricted either by whatever it is, you know, family or whoever, or just the stores aren't going to have your options, aren't going to have your
Oh my
size.
God. And I feel bad about the jeans so badly because I had a favorite pair of jeans that I got another pair of. And at the same time, both of them ripped. And one of them ripped when I was on the Metro North because I went to go like sit down very quickly on in like a, you know, a seat that like it was like kind of narrow getting into, and they have like rubber you know, sidebars or you know, handles, and it caught onto the rubber handle, and I guess it was already ready, and it just ripped, and I was wearing hot pink underwear, and that was actually a body positive moment because I was like, it's cold out, I need to make sure that I was staying at a friend's overnight, so I was coming back, and thankfully I had like velvet, you know, stretchy you know, leggings that I could put on. And, you know, I was like, you know what? I don't care if anyone sees my pink underwear. It's beautiful. So I like walked down into the bathroom and put those velvet pants on. And I know a lot of people saw, but I didn't care.
Oh my God. Love it. Love it.
Very off topic, but to those jeans that you buy so many pairs of, I get it.
Yes. Especially when they rip, right?
Yes, Nora says new fashion statement. Pink underwear under ripped jeans.
Yeah. I truly believe that
Regina George there.
All New Yorkers have dealt with a ripped pants, ripped dress, ripped whatever on public transportation, myself included, twice.
We still put like a pair of extra leggings somewhere along in our bags or something like that.
Yeah, you would think we would be that smart. I have not been.
Well, that I was only because I was staying over someone's the night before that I was coming back. So thankfully for that. Otherwise, I would have been like, all right, well, I'm going to Regina George it out of here.
I love it. But no, I think you're right that those who are coping and you know, have a past of a eating disorder can view these food shortages and you know, just all of the crazy ways, insane ways that we have to deal with lines for grocery stores and just hoping for the best and everything. I think that totally can be triggered. And I'm glad that you brought that up.
No, I keep telling myself, and I think everyone should tell themselves too, that they are warriors and survivors. And, you know, no matter like what life is throwing at us, you know, we are going to get through this together. We're going to get through it on our own. You know, we're warriors, especially this body positive community and, you know, beyond anybody who's dealing with anything that's, you know, causing them anxiety now. We're all warriors.
Yeah, absolutely. We're all warriors. Whether you're, you know, a healthcare provider who's literally on the front lines.
Clap for that.
Amen to you. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you for the grocery shoppers.
Yes. You're
teachers.
even a warrior if you're just defending yourself from the trolls. you
Yes,
know?
exactly. Everybody, like I said, has a burden to bear, but I hope that, people can, take something away from this and, feel like they can get through whatever anyone's going to throw them right now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you, Jackie. You're the
Thank
greatest.
you. I'm so happy that we can do this in a
Oh my
digital
God.
world.
Always. It's so nice to be able to chat with you. And for those of you guys who are watching, every Wednesday, we're gonna hang out. We're gonna chat. And
She provides the best content, so you should always
oh
tune
my
in.
gosh,
It's true.
you're so sweet. Well, I also have the best guests like you. And Leah, who was on earlier, was my guest last week. And we were talking about what body positivity is like from generation to generation, because we have about, a couple decades between us. And